Hello, everybody, and welcome to week one of the Nimbasa City League Pick Ems, where we go through this week's matchups and who we think uh, is going to win, basically. I'm Jed, the coach of the Adelaide Overheat, and I'll be covering the choices made by coaches during the course of the season over what we think over which coach we think is going to win in each matchup. So to start off, we'll just have a look at our matchups in week one. We've got the Adelaide Overheat, me versus the Detroit Terravolts. We have Wiltshire War Turtles versus the Atlanta Star Raptors. Snow Point City Blizzard versus the Tampa Bay Weasels. Krabby Cadabbies versus the UNC Wingo. Cleveland Escavaliers versus Seattle Staraptors. Ladner Lantern versus Green Bay Glissopods. And that'll be our 6 matches for the week. And down the side here, you see the coaches and or spectators that will be voting on these picks for the week. If you have any picks that you would like to leave as well, chuck them in the comments, and we'll see how you do. Anyway, going into our first matchup, my Adelaide Overheat versus Nacho's Detroit Terravolts. I've got the Mega Beedrill, Infernate, Rotom Wash, Kyurem, Gardevoir, Gorgeist, Mightyena, Kartana, Aerodactyl, Nidoking, and Komala. Whereas my opponent is coming with the Mega Diancie, Celesteela, Toxapex, Serena, Chandelure, Uxie, Piloswine, Garchomp, Buzzwole, Electivire, and the Tangela on the end there. It is definitely a very hard matchup for me. He's got the nice defensive core of the Celesteela, Toxapex, Serena, Uxie, Piloswine, and Tangela. Like, all of them can be quite good on the defense. Even like Garchomp can be quite bulky. Buzzwole can be quite physically bulky. Mega Diancie can be bulky as well, but like it's like a huge offensive threat. The only thing, his team is a bit slower than mine, so I think I've got a decent matchup in that regards. Like, Nacho's a good player. I feel like I'm a decent player as well. So on that front, it's going to be pretty even. I mean, I feel like all the coaches that we have in the NCL are pretty decent. So, um, like, most of these matches, I will come down to like how they play on the day rather than like their um past play or anything like that. I feel like everyone is pretty even, in my opinion. But I feel like things on my team can definitely put pressure on Nacho's team here. I've got like quite a offensive team where his is a bit more defensive, and that can give me a bit of an advantage. But he does have the bulk that he can live a hit or two, and that could bring him back into the game. I'm obviously here going to be voting for myself to win this matchup, but I believe that Nacho will be voting for himself as well. And yeah, so we've got Austin, me, Magic, and Phil all voting for me. Thanks, guys. And then Nacho voting for himself, and then Daniel, Ben, Cade, Howler, and Jay all voting for the Detroit Terravolts as well. So, 4 to 6 pick'ems in that regards. 4 for me, 6 for Nacho. Which I mean, I'm not surprised about. He does have a strong team. but I'm definitely going to be looking to prove the doubters wrong. Um, but yeah, next up we have the Wiltshire War Turtles versus the Atlanta Star Raptors, which is Phil versus Austin. Phil has the Mega Aerodactyl, Manaphy, Conkeldurr, Nidoqueen, Whimsicott, Bronzong, Tauros, Goodra, Umbreon, Rotom, Blacephalon. And then Austin has the Mega Altaria, the Victini, the Gliscor, Tangrowth, Empoleon, Cryogonal, Haunter, Raikou, Keldeo, and Zoroark. And personally, just looking at this matchup, Austin with the Atlanta Star Raptors here has a fairly disadvantageous matchup for sure. Like the Mega Aerodactyl has the coverage and the damage to pretty much just to tear through his team. Like Mega Altaria is not going to want to take an Iron Head. Victandy's not going to want to take an Earthquake or like a Stone Edge or a Rock Slide or whatever. Gliscor is probably one of Austin's best walls against this Mega Aerodactyl, but things like the Manaphy, the Nidoqueen, even the Goodra, like I'm not going to Gliscor's not going to want to try and sit in front of them too much, because all of them can hit it pretty hard. Tangrowth and Empoleon can be a decent defensive core. Like it is like Gliscor, Tangrowth, and Empoleon is a really good defensive core. Don't get me wrong, but the combination of things like Mega Aerodactyl, Nidoqueen, Whimsicott, Goodra, and the Blacephalon are quite likely to tear that apart. To be honest, in my opinion at least. And then like Blacephalon, like tears through things like Cryogonal, Haunter, um, even like even Gliscor or something like that isn't going to want to take a hit from the Blacephalon. Victini can't even like risk taking that fire move in case Blacephalon comes out with a ghost type move, and like there's nothing on Austin's team that really wants to take a ghost type move outside of Zoroark, and even then Zoroark's not going to be tanky, so it's not really going to take two of them either. So I think Phil and the War Turtles here have the matchup, and that's going to be my pick for this week in this. And it seems like most people agree with me. Even Austin is backing the Wiltshire War Turtles here. So he's got 7-3. Austin, me, Nacho, Cade, Howler, Jay, and Phil all picking the Wiltshire War Turtles. Daniel, Ben, and Magic all picking Austin and the Atlanta Star Raptors. So we'll see if that call works out for them, basically. Though personally, Austin is definitely going to have a hard time against this team. Next up, we've got the Snowpoint City Blizzard versus the Tampa Bay Weasels. And that's Magic versus Ben. Mega Aggron, Landorus Therian, Ferrothorn, Pelipper, Kingdra, Meloetta, Castform, Jolteon, Ludicolo, Klefki, and Quillfish for the Snowpoint City Blizzard. And then the Tampa Bay Weasels have the Mega Scizor, the Current Black, Gengar, Crocodile, Primarina, Licky, Pinsir, Zapdos, Emboar, Sceptile, and Mesprit. So obviously Magic has a bit of a rain team going on here. He did get sniped of that Mega Swampert in the draft, but I feel like Mega Aggron can definitely work on a rain team as well. Like it gets that filter, and then with the rain up, like nothing is really going to be able to touch it. So it's definitely going to be a good combination. And looking at the Weasels team, like he doesn't really have much that's going to be able to break the Mega Aggron. Emboar is going to get that superpower that's still going to hit it decently. But like Mega Aggron, it's probably still not going to kill the Mega Aggron, and Mega Aggron's going to be able to do a ton of damage back. And like Mega Aggron is going to be able to pretty much wall things like the Mega Scizor. It's gonna hit that Kyron Black really hard with like a heavy slam or something like that. Uh, Hit Gengar with an Earthquake. Crocodile isn't like Crocodile's going to be able to hit the Mega Aggron, but it's not going to be like too hard either, especially if it's like a more defensive one. And looking at Tampa Bay Weasels, a a physically defensive Mega Aggron will actually pretty much wall his team, because Embor's not going to be doing a ton then. Mega Scizor is not going to be able to hit it. Crocodile's not going to be able to hit it too badly. And he doesn't really have the fire moves otherwise to be able to deal with this Mega Aggron. He doesn't have, like Gengar could have Focus Blast, but then you got to risk the missing there. And even like a Z Focus Blast or something like that, Mega Aggron's still quite likely going to be able to take, depending on the set that Magic brings. Yeah, just looking at this, I personally think that Magic's Rain team will be able to outdo Ben's team that he's picked up here. Though, like, obviously Mega Scizor, Kyron Black, Gengar, Primarina, the Zapdos there is pretty cool. Like, they're all, it's definitely a good looking team, but I just think that it's not going to be able to do enough to things like the Mega Aggron, the Ferrothorn, and stuff like that in the rain. So I think the matchup here, personally, will go to the Snowpoint City Blizzards. So this one has gone 6-4 again, 6 to the Snowpoint City Blizzards. So it looks like majority of people do agree with me. Though Austin, Ben, Howler, and Jay are going for Ben. So most people voting for themselves, it seems, except Austin, is not too confident in his own matchup. Next up, we got Cade and the Krabby Kadabbies, and Jay and the UNC Wingirls. Cade has the Mega Sceptile, the Tapu Koko, Hawlucha, Vaporeon, Gigalith, Delphox, Avalag, Weavile, Mismagius, Excadrill, and the Lantern. So he's got a little bit of a, I don't know, a speed. He's got the Tapu Koko, Hawlucha, the Koko Lucha core with the side of sand as well, which is kind of interesting, an interesting combination. Whereas Jay and the UNC Wingirls have a slower team: Mega Camerupt, Clefable, Bisharp, Haxorus, Porygon 2, Rotom-Mow, Volbeat, Gothitelle, Jellicent, Hitmonlee, and Tornadus Therian. So it's an interesting looking team. He challenged himself to be under 100 speed, 100 base speed on all his mons for this draft. So he definitely has the Trick Room potential. And the Mega Camerupt is obviously going to hit really hard under Trick Room. Gothitelle, I think, has the Arena Trap. Jellicent is a good wall. Hitmonlee is a decent spinner, but also a decent offensive spinner. But you can never count Cade out. And like Mega Sceptile, Tapu Koko, Hawlucha, the Delphox, Mismagius, Weavile, and then that Excadrill in the sand with the Gigalith, and then Avalag to just wall everything. Avalag's just hard to break no matter what. I think personally Jay has his work cut out for him. Cade's a really good battler, and I think the team that he's drafted is really strong, and it's definitely going to be something to look out for. And I think he is going to have this matchup, unfortunately for Jay, and it is something that is a majority ruling from everyone almost. Howler and Magic, even Jay is voting against himself in this situation as well. So him and Austin not too confident this week. But Magic and Howler do have Jay's back, so that could work out well for them, put them ahead if they do manage to make this pick correct. So it'll be interesting to see. Next up, we have Dom and the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Corona and the Seattle Star Raptors. Dom with his scary fantasy core of the Mega Charizard X, the Jirachi, and the Tapu Bulu, all covering each other's weaknesses pretty nicely there. Suicune, Galvantula, Hard Hitter Webs there, Greninja, Gligar, Armaldo, Cresselia, just Cresselia is so bulky, Lanoon, and Hitmonchan. And then we've got the Seattle Star Raptors with the Mega Swampert, Zeraora, Mimikyu, Metagross, Politoed, Ditto, Simisear, Zygarde 50%, Esselgor, Scolipede, and Slacking. Seattle Star Raptors taking a bit of a rain core there as well. I don't feel it's as rainy as Magic's rain team, but it is a nice looking core. And like just Metagross in the rain is going to be hard to deal with for sure. Zeraora is a nice, speedy electric to have in this team. Mimikyu is always a threat, just being able to basically have that free setup. Like nothing's going to be able to stop it from setting up at least once. Ditto is always a threat to prep against. Zygarde 50%, and its 1,000 arrows is always scary. Selgor got the hazard potential. Scolipede also got hazards and like the speed boost, though speed passing is not allowed in this. And Mega Swampert is always a threat, especially against things like the Mega Charizard and the Jirachi. Though Dom does have the Tapu Bulu that's going to make that Mega Swampert's Earthquake not as effective with that grassy terrain. I feel like this matchup could go either way on how it plays, but I think that the Cleveland Cavaliers do have the stronger team and therefore the better chance of coming out ahead. And I mean, Dom loves his Mega Charizard X, and so I'm definitely feeling that he's going to be able to make that work out for him in this game. So I'm going to call it as the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that is going to be the majority call as well. So Ben, Howler, and Magic all going for the Seattle Star Raptors here as well. So once again, Magic is picking the minority by the looks of it. Except when he picked himself, but Magic going for the risky plays here if he wants to be topping the picks over the course of the season. But then we do have the final matchup of the Ladner Lantern versus the Green Bay Glissopods, with Ian of the Ladner Lantern having Mega Pinsir, Mew, Sylveon, Alolan Ninetales, Rotom Heat, Alolan Sandslash, Alolan Raticate, Melodic, Como-O, Superior, and Bibarel. And then Matt of the Green Bay Glissopods having the Mega Sharpedo, Latios, Volcarona, Donphan, Decidueye, Electros, Gerda, Skarmory, Florges, Weezing, and Regice. So, a pretty even matchup, I feel like. Ian and Matt are both great battlers. Mega Sharpedo is definitely a threat to watch out for in this match. It's going to have that, because we don't have to Mega First Turn in this league, so Mega Sharpedo can get that speed boost from the regular Sharpedo form before it Mega Evolves, which is pretty neat. Though, I mean, that means Mega Pinsir, I think, can get a boost I think it's got an ability that lets it get a boost before it Mega Evolves if it can. So that's pretty cool as well, like Moxie or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but I've never really used it that way myself. So I feel like Ian with his Alolan Ninetales, Aurora Val, and then setup team, and then having like the Melodic, the Sylveon, and the Mew and the Rotom Heat being more defensively invested, we'll be able to handle Matt's team decently. Though Matt does have his own setup as well in things like Volcarona, Latios, I believe, gets some setup there. Um, it's definitely going to be an interesting match, and I feel like this could be one of the closest matches of the week. And then he's got he's got an amazing defensive core as well in the Skarmory, the Florges, and the Donphan. Like they're all really good defensive mons. So it's going to be a tough game to call. I do have to side with Ian and the Lad and the Lantern though. His setup is going to be really strong in my opinion, and it's gonna definitely put Matt on the back foot. So Lad and the Lantern is my call. But this is the closest call of the week. I would probably give this match the match to watch of the week, to watch out for. It's going to be an interesting match for sure. Austin, me, Ben, Jay, and Phil all siding with Ian, and then Nacho, Daniel, Cade, Howler, and Magic all siding with Matt. So even calls there, so that could be the deciding factor for who's going to top the matchups for the Pick Ems for week 1. And definitely going to be an interesting week for sure. There's going to be some awesome battles. And obviously, we are going to be running this over 12 weeks, and we'll keep a running tally. Obviously, week 1 has not started yet, so there's no score as of yet. But we'll find out who start topping the leaderboard as the weeks continue. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And as I said at the start, if you've got any picks yourself, who do you think is going to win? Let us know in the comments below. And keep your eyes peeled on the NCL YouTube for more videos over the course of this season. And check the description for links to all of our coaches. Yeah. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Peace.